Hello students, welcome to Learner's Planet, Theory Session 9 of Metals and Non-Metals. In our previous session, we discussed about the extraction of less reactive metals like copper, mercury. In this session, we will be discussing about the extraction of moderately reactive metals. We started this in our previous session. We started with calcination, right? That is the conversion of the metal sulfide or carbonate into its oxide. So we did calcination. What was that? It is heating of ore in the absence of air. Now in this session, children, we will do roasting, right? Now roasting is also one of the process in which an ore, that is a sulfide ore, is converted to its oxide. As I have told you, what is the need to convert a particular ore into its oxide? It is easy to reduce an oxide rather than to reduce a carbonate or sulfide of an ore. Okay. Now in this roasting, children, what is done is, here the ore is heated strongly in the presence of air to convert it into metal oxide. Now what we are doing is, we are heating strongly the ore in the presence of air. In calcination, it was in the absence of air. So here, if we are doing it in the presence of air, so what type of ore it should be? It is a sulfide ore, like zinc sulfide, lead sulfide, right? So, or galena, like galena is lead sulfide, or silver sulfide. So, these sulfide ores are converted to their oxides by roasting. Now, what type of furnace is taken? Furnace is used. It is a reverberatory furnace or a blast furnace. Now, there is one specific quality of these furnaces, students. It is that they are on the inner side, they are lined by magnesium or some fire bricks. Brick lining is there, right? And these can withstand very high temperatures. Now in this case, children, it is a sulfide ore. So on heating it in the presence of air, what type of molecule is released out? It is sulfur dioxide, right? Then let's take up few examples of roasting. Like roasting of zinc blende. What is zinc blende? Zinc blende is zinc sulfide. Now when this zinc sulfide solid is heated in the presence of air, what all are the products formed? It is zinc oxide and sulfur dioxide. So what was our purpose? Our purpose was to convert sulfide to an oxide, so that this oxide can be easily reduced. Got it? So, in case of calcination, children, what were the molecules released? They were either carbon dioxide or water. Now, here what are the molecules released? It is sulfur dioxide. Now, our next example is roasting of galena. You know what is galena? Galena is lead sulfide. Now, if I am heating lead sulfide in the presence of air, right, what I am getting? I am getting lead oxide and obviously sulfur dioxide, right? So, whatever sulfur is present with the ore gets oxidized to its oxide. Let's take few more examples. That is roasting of copper glans. Glans is used for sulfide ores. Now here your copper sulfide is again heated in the presence of air and it forms what, children? It forms copper 1 oxide and sulfur dioxide. Okay. So can you just tell me what is the formula of copper 2 oxide? What should be the formula of copper 2 oxide, children? The formula of copper 2 oxide is Cu, right? So this is the formula of copper 2 oxide. So what type of oxide is formed here? Here it's copper 1 oxide. Right, children? Now this, we were discussing like the conversion of metals ores, that is its sulfide or carbonate or oxide with water to a particular oxide, right? Now what we have got in our hand? We have metal oxide in our hand, like zinc oxide, lead oxide, right, copper oxide. So all the oxides we have got in our hand. Now what is our purpose? After calcination we got aluminium oxide. Now what was our purpose? We want metal from this metal oxide. So how it can be done? It can be done by reducing this metal oxide. Clear? So how can we reduce this metal oxides? The metal oxides are converted to free metal by reducing agents like carbon, aluminium, sodium or calcium. So children, these can be the reducing agents. Okay, we can use carbon, we can use aluminium or sodium or even calcium. Now first of all, we will take up reduction of metal oxide with carbon. So first let's take up carbon. The oxides of comparatively less reactive metals like zinc, iron, tin, lead, copper. So these are what, children? Less reactive metals. These are present in the middle of the reactivity series, right? Now these are reduced by using carbon as a reducing agent, right? So what is done is that the metal oxide is heated with carbon in a furnace. Say for example, I have to reduce iron oxide, that is hematite. Hematite is Fe2O3. If I have to reduce it, what all other things I require? I require hematite plus coke. Okay. Now that carbon will reduce oxide to its metal. So I'll write the equation here. That is, what will be the equation? Say your Fe2O3. This will react with carbon. How, children? By heating. Okay. Now this will react with carbon and it will form what? It will form Fe plus carbon monoxide. Right? So it is forming iron plus carbon monoxide. In the first step, it forms FeO, that is iron oxide and carbon monoxide. And in the second step, it forms iron and carbon dioxide. So what I can do here is, I can treat this iron oxide again when heated with carbon monoxide. What it will form, children? It will form iron metal and carbon dioxide. Right? So you know, children, this is an exothermic reaction. That is, large amount of heat is evolved. Okay? Now this is what is the process is called as smelting. That is, heating of an oxide with carbon is called what? Smelting. Now these metals are heated with coke or coal. Do you remember I told you about flux or the formation of slag, how it is formed? In this case, children, with hematite, what is the gang here? The gang is silica, that is SiO2. In this, the flux added is calcium carbonate. Right? Now this CaCO3 gives you what? Calcium oxide and CO2. Right? Now this silica reacts with calcium oxide and forms what? Calcium silicate. That is SiO2 plus calcium oxide, and it is forming CaSiO3. That is calcium silicate. Okay. Now this is your slag. So what is the gang here? Silica. The flux here, calcium carbonate, which gives calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. Now this calcium oxide reacts with silica, forming the slag, that is calcium silicate. So this is here reduction of metal oxide to free metal. Now let's take this example. Reduction of lead oxide, PbO. This lead oxide is heated with carbon or coke and it forms what? Lead and carbon monoxide. Again your lead oxide may react with the carbon monoxide formed and it will form what? Lead and carbon dioxide. So from here children, we have got a metal in our hand. That is, we have got lead in our hand. Now this is still not pure. There are certain impurities which have not yet removed. Right? For that, we have to conduct a refining process. Okay? Now there is another example, that is reduction of zinc oxide. Zinc oxide reacts with carbon, or zinc oxide is heated with carbon and it forms what? Zinc metal and again carbon monoxide. Okay children? So this is the method for the reduction of less reactive metals like zinc, lead, tin, copper by carbon. As I have told you previously, iron is extracted from its oxide ore, that is hematite, Fe2O3 by reduction with carbon in a blast furnace. Okay, so the reaction with carbon is carried out in a blast furnace. Right children, you don't need to go into deep details of this blast furnace. You just remember the process. Now there are certain metals children which are very reactive or which have got more affinity for oxygen rather than the carbon, right? So they can be reduced by metals like aluminium or magnesium or calcium. Aluminium or sodium or calcium, okay, not magnesium. Now metals which have very high melting points and are to be extracted from their oxides are reduced by reactive metal like aluminium. Now what do you mean by this? With very high melting point? The example of such type of metal is chromium, right? Or manganese. Now these metals children, they have got very high melting points and so they cannot be reduced by carbon. They cannot be reduced satisfactorily. The product obtained would be very less in quantity. So they are reduced by using aluminium. Let's see how. Yeah, now what is the principle behind this? We have read that a more reactive metal displaces a less reactive metal from its compounds. We have already read that. That is your copper oxide, when treated with sodium, it will form what? Sodium oxide and copper is precipitated. So a more reactive metal displaces a less reactive metal from its compounds. So what is done here? What is done is a mixture of concentrated oxide ore. It can be any oxide, chromium oxide, or it can be manganese oxide, or sometimes iron oxide, and aluminium powder is taken and it is heated, right? So this mixture of concentrated oxide ore and aluminium powder is called what? Thermite. This mixture is called as thermite, right? Now this thermite is taken in a steel crucible. What is done here children? It is just this thermite is taken on the bed of a steel crucible and is ignited, right? How it is ignited? It is ignited by using magnesium ribbon. Now once ignited, the reaction proceeds. And this reaction children, that is the reaction of oxide ore with aluminium, is an exothermic reaction. That is, large amount of heat is released. Fine? So that is why it is also called as thermite. Therma meaning heat. The temperature is raised. Okay. Now let's take its example. Extraction of chromium from chromium oxide. So this is what, children? Chromium oxide. What is its formula? Cr2O3. This is mixed with aluminium, right? And is ignited. How? With the help of magnesium ribbon. And what is formed is chromium and aluminium oxide. And as I told you, large amount of heat is released, right? So in what form your chromium will be obtained? It would be obtained in molten state. Clear? So the metals obtained by thermite reduction are obtained in molten state. Now the same as this extraction of manganese from manganese dioxide. Now what is the name of this ore? It is pyrolusite. Now here, children, manganese dioxide or pyrolusite is heated with aluminium. And what we will get here? We will get manganese, that is molten manganese, and Al2O3. Right? This reaction is also used for repairing of your railway tracks. That is, here what is happening is, here the iron oxide, that is Fe2O3, is treated with aluminium, right? In a steel crucible it is taken and is ignited, right? And it forms Al2O3 and iron plus lots of heat. Right, children? So what is happening here is your iron will be obtained in molten state, right? Now that molten iron is then poured on the broken truck, right? So this way your metal oxides can be reduced with the help of aluminium. Like this is extraction of iron from iron oxide using aluminium as a reducing agent. But you know, children, most of the times your iron oxide is reduced to iron using carbon. Why? Because aluminium is an expensive metal, whereas carbon is less expensive. So when iron oxide can be easily reduced by carbon, then why to increase the cost of reduction? So iron is obtained from iron oxide by reducing it with carbon. Now this particular reaction, children, is used for melting of broken railway tracks, okay, or melting of broken iron things, right? So these are the reactions where aluminium is used as a reducing agent. Likewise, for some metals, sodium or even calcium can be used as a reducing agent. Clear? So let's take up this extraction of highly reactive metals. Now what are highly reactive metals? Those metals which are placed in the beginning of the reactivity series, like the oxides of highly reactive metals such as potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium and aluminium. Even aluminium oxide, that is, aluminium is highly reactive, and even that oxide, these are very stable. Now children, when these are very stable, how can they be reduced by carbon or even aluminium, right? And they cannot be reduced by most common reducing agent, that is carbon. Why? Because these metals have more affinity for oxygen as compared to carbon, right? Like your aluminium oxide. Aluminium oxide has got a very high affinity for oxygen. So if we heat aluminium oxide, Al2O3, with carbon, which is called as smelting, what happens, children? Here, no reaction takes place. or even if the reaction will take place with a very small amount of aluminum will be obtained. Rather, aluminum cannot be obtained by this process because aluminum has very high affinity for oxygen. Right, children? So as it has very high affinity, it cannot lose its oxygen. Or even if we still want to do the reaction, we have to raise the temperature very high, say some 1500 Kelvin, which would not be economical. So, these metals, they can be extracted by electrolytic reduction of their molten oxides or chlorides. Okay, so what can be done is either their molten oxide or chloride is taken and it is electrolyzed. Now let's see how it is done. Now what is electrolysis, children? Electrolyzed is okay, but what is electrolysis? This is the passage of electric current through the electrolyte with subsequent migration of positive and negative ions to the negative and positive electrodes. I'll tell you how it is carried out. That is, say, let's take this as an electrolytic container. Right, children? Now what is there? There are two electrodes in this. Okay? Now what is happening to these electrodes? Why are we calling electrodes? Because they will conduct electricity. And now these electrodes are connected to the positive and the negative terminal of the battery. Right? So the one connected to the positive terminal will have positive charge on it, and the one connected to the negative terminal will have negative charge on it. Let's take an example of aluminium oxide here. Right? Say if in this container I am taking aluminium oxide. So children, here I am taking aluminium oxide, Al2O3. Now, on passing electric current, what will happen? Al2O3 will dissociate, right? And it will form what? It will form 2Al3 plus of O2. I can make it 2Al2O3 so that there is 4Al3 plus thrice of O2 minus. Right, children? If I'll balance it, I can make it 6O2 minus. Right? Now, what all ions I have got in the electrolyte? That is the positive ion, that is Al3 plus, and the negative ion, that is O2 minus, that is oxide. Okay? So, this is what type of ion, children? This is an oxide ion. Right? Now, what will happen? This is what? The passage of electric current through electrolyte with subsequent migration of positive and negative ions to negative and positive electrodes. So what is happening here? What is the negative ion here? Oxygen or oxide. So it will migrate to the positive electrode and aluminium ions will migrate to the negative electrode. So always where we will get our metal, children? We will get our metal at the negative electrode or the cathode. Right? Why? Because metals form positive ions. Now let's take up the extraction of sodium metal. Extraction of sodium metal, from where it is done? Sodium metal is extracted by electrolytic reduction of molten sodium chloride. Now this is very, very important, children. Here we are not taking aqueous sodium chloride. What we are taking here is, we are taking molten sodium chloride, right? Now what happens to it? When the electric current is passed, NaCl will give you what? 2Na plus Cl2 gas. Let's write the ionic equations. That is, sodium chloride will dissociate forming sodium ions and chloride ions. Clear? Now what will be the state of these ions? At cathode that is the negative electrode, the positive sodium ions are attracted towards cathode. I have told you it's a negative electrode. That is, it has electrons over it. Say, this is your cathode, right? Now this is providing what? This is providing electrons. Okay? So what will happen? Sodium ions will take up electrons from where? From cathode, and will reduce, and they will form what? Sodium metal. So where are we going to get our metal? At the cathode. That is the negative electrode. Okay? Now what happens at anode, children? The negative chloride ions are attracted to the anode, that is the positive electrode. That is, say, if this is your anode, what will be the charge on the anode? The charge on the anode is positive, that is, it is not having any of the electrons, right? So what will happen? This is plus. Now what will happen to this? The chloride ions, what they will do? They will give out electrons. Okay, so chloride ions have got excess of electrons, and what they will do? They will give this electron to whom? To the positive ion. Right? Say, this is Cl minus, this is Cl minus, it is giving its electron to anode, and it is forming what? Cl, 0, that is no charge, right? So it is the chloride ions give electrons to the anode and get oxidized to chlorine gas, right? So chlorine gas will be produced at anode. Now here, children, I have told you that we have to take molten sodium chloride, not the aqueous one here, because the aqueous sodium chloride cannot be electrolyzed, because as soon as sodium metal is produced at cathode, it will react with water present in the aqueous solution to form what, children? Sodium hydroxide. So, for extraction of sodium, what sodium chloride we are taking? Molten and not aqueous, because the sodium metal produced will react with water, or it may react with the hydroxyl ions furnished by water, right? If I am carrying out electrolysis, if I am passing current, what will happen? In the aqueous solution, there is water also. Now, what will happen to this water? This water will dissociate, and it will form what, children? It will form H plus plus of OH minus ions. Now, as soon as sodium metal is produced, what it will do? It will react with OH minus ions, or Na plus, which is in the solution, will react with OH minus ions, and it will form what, children? It will form sodium hydroxide. Or your sodium metal, which is produced at the cathode, will react with water, and it will form what, children? It will again form sodium hydroxide, that is NaOH, and H2 gas, right? So what was our motive? What did we want? We wanted sodium and not sodium hydroxide. So what should we take for this thing, electrolysis? We have to take molten sodium chloride and not aqueous sodium chloride. Remember this. So in this case, the product obtained will be sodium hydroxide instead of sodium chloride. So children, these are the methods for the extraction of highly reactive metals like sodium, aluminium, potassium, calcium. How could we extract potassium? We can again do the electrolysis of potassium chloride. Calcium we can extract by doing electrolysis of calcium chloride. Okay, so these are some ores of highly reactive metals, and we can obtain these metals by their electrolysis. Okay, so I'll conclude this session, children. In our next session, we will be discussing the extraction of a few more metals. Yeah, extraction we have discussed. We will be discussing about the refining of metals. Till now, by all the processes, we have obtained the metals in our hand. Now what we have to do? We have to refine them. Okay, children? So, thank you for your patience. We'll be meeting in the next session of metals and non-metals.